Hey everyone, welcome to Crypto Data. So today we're going to talk about what's been going on in the market, and then again I'm going to cover a couple news items. So we can see Bitcoin right now, it's hovering around that $7,600 level. Now this is a pivotal moment because you can see in my chart here, 4 hour, I drew an ascending triangle the other day, and you can see right now it's on that bottom part of the triangle. So if it does break this $7,600 level, then we could see it fall down to potentially below 7,000 here, the previous lows. So again, keep an eye on this. There's a lot of pressure on Bitcoin. It hasn't really been able to break out the past couple of days. So a lot of people are thinking it may break down again. So again, we're gonna have to see what happens. The RSI isn't really showing overbought or oversold. So there's a lot more room for the downside. So again, always set your stops. Make sure you preserve your capital accordingly. And then looking at the other coins here, one of the only other coins that's up today is EOS at 1.31% to $14.26. And it's actually because of a launch they're supposed to have today, which I'll go over in a second. But most of the coins today are down a couple percent. So again, not really too much action going on, and we'll just have to see what happens for the future. Now, one of the first articles I want to cover, this guy was named the quote unquote crypto king by CNBC. Not sure where he got that name, but that's what they call him here. And he says that regulatory clarity will jumpstart institutional investments. So this guy here, his name is Bart Smith, and he heads the digital asset group at Pennsylvania firm called Susquehanna International Group, which they first experimented with Bitcoin trading in 2014. And basically what he tells them, it says he believes that institutional investors will start getting into the market once there's more regulatory clarity. He says there's been a tremendous amount of focus on the SEC and Chairman Clayton's comments, but it's really a whole host of other regulatory agencies out there because the ecosystem expands beyond the traditional financial assets. And then he also says regulatory clarity will allow institutions to come in more than anything else because institutions don't like to invest in uncertainty. So we're just taking the most conservative approach that we can. Now again, institutional investors, there's a lot of misconceptions about this. Those are more of the banks, so the big banks, not some of the hedge funds that people are talking about. These are more of the big banks for big institutions here. So to keep that in mind, it's going to be maybe a year or two before big institutions actually start getting into cryptos. But basically what he's saying here is, there needs to be a Bitcoin ETF because people want that regulatory clarity. They want to make sure that they have, custody of their Bitcoin, it's safe, and they know what they're investing in. And he says, we've been advocating for an ETF, and we think it checks a lot of the boxes for regulatory concerns, specifically as it relates to retail investors. And it checks a lot of boxes for institutional customers as far as custody and taxation and anti-money laundering and know your client issues. So again, there's just a lot of talk about it right now. There's been a lot of things outlined by the SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. And, he's made his concerns very clear, and it's up to the ecosystem to address those concerns. So everyone's working to try to get this ETF to the markets. Hopefully it comes sooner than later. And I think that's going to be one of the catalysts for more retail investors as well as institutional investors down the line to get into the market. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on this and see where we go in the future. Another article I want to cover is Quebec. Now, originally, Quebec, they had low electricity costs, so there was a lot of miners coming in and mining in their area. And they actually put out a moratorium, which basically is kind of like a ban on mining in their area. But it says, the Canadian province of Quebec will lift their moratorium on the sale of electricity to cryptocurrency mining operations, local media outlets have reported. And basically, Quebec says that they lifted the moratorium because they think that they don't want to miss out on the potential revenues of the booming cryptocurrency industry. And it says, under the new guidelines, cryptocurrency miners will pay different, presumably higher electricity rates, and public utility Hydro-Quebec will have the license to cut off power to miners when the grid is at maximum capacity. So again, they don't want their grid to become flooded with miners, but they still want to capitalize on that revenue that the miners are using for their electricity. So again, that's some good news. Any place that is allowing miners back into their industry is very good. I think it'll just help spread cryptocurrencies around the world and just increase, that mainstream adoption. So I thought this was good that they lifted that moratorium, and hopefully they keep that for the future. Now, last but not least, one of the last articles we're going to cover is talking about EOS. So I mentioned EOS, how they had their launch set to launch today, and it says the EOS blockchain is set to launch today, June 9th, according to the results of a live stream vote that took place yesterday, June 9th. So yesterday they had kind of a little conference going, and basically it was the equivalent to like miners on the Bitcoin blockchain. It was called the EOS Blockchain's block producers. And it says they voted go in their last voting session to make the EOS mainnet go live at 1 p.m. UTC today. The community has yet to confirm that a successful launch has taken place as of press time. So again, you go to their one of the Twitter here, EOS Go. This is another Twitter they have, and they're talking about launching the platform at 1300 UTC, but they haven't tweeted anything since. So I don't think it's active yet. So maybe some stuff is going on. It may be active, and I just don't see it. But at least on their Twitter, they haven't mentioned it. So, but that is one of the reasons why you can see EOS, being one of the only coins that are up today versus anything else, because there's a lot of hype around this. And basically, it says, the news comes a week after the EOS creator blockchain software developer Block 1 released version 1.0 of the blockchain protocol, EOS.io, to the public. And it says it's designed to let enterprise level and community driven businesses build scalable blockchain based applications. So, it's good that they're continuing with their versions, and they're continuing with their launches. So hopefully they'll release this today, and then, it'll continue expanding their ecosystem and helping businesses and developers around the world. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on this as EOS progresses throughout the day. Now, last article I want to cover is businesses getting into the arbitrage opportunity for cryptocurrencies. So as you know, there's a lot of algorithmic trading going on right now for cryptocurrencies. It's tenfold for stocks and, Forex market and everything, and then as well as arbitrage in that sector. But that arbitrage, those algorithms for that is actually moving towards cryptocurrencies now. So you're seeing this shift because people are seeing the volatility in cryptocurrencies and they want to capitalize on that. And basically what arbitrage, those who don't know, there's little price differences in different exchanges. So maybe one exchange has Bitcoin's price 5% higher than another exchange, and people buy Bitcoin for that cheaper price on one exchange and then sell it on the other exchange for a higher price. Now in stocks, there's not really arbitrage opportunity. The spreads are pretty tight. Maybe a 0.01% or something, arbitrage opportunity. But for cryptos right now, you have up to 5% across different exchanges. So the US startup called Arbitrage, the name of the company, has developed price comparison tools and is working on a trading tool to take advantage of the spreads. So a lot of hedge funds are talking to this company. They're trying to get it on the action. Basically what the company says here is they were going to go public with this app that they have right here, but they said that it would cause the spreads to thin if they let everyone use this app. So basically they've leaned back towards using it privately. So they've been approached by hedge funds interested in using the tool and said, we told them we'd reach out when we have something more developed. So he says, he does not think the arbitrage opportunity will be around forever. So basically they're trying to capitalize on this while the volatility is still there. Now, my opinion on this, businesses are going to try to get any profit where they can. Of course, it'll keep the price more stable for Bitcoin. But again, I mentioned there's a lot of algorithmic trading going on and a lot of price manipulation going on with Bitcoin the past couple of weeks and even couple of months. And, I don't think it's too healthy for the market because it's not organic like we did have in 2017. But again, once we get more money into the market, then we will see less price manipulation. So hopefully, that comes sooner than later, but we'll have to see what happens. But with that, that's all I had for today. So if y'all enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, thanks for watching.